back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marina and I do messy mobile home living. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I asked y'all in my community tab what you wanted to see, and you guys said that you wanted to see a mashup of a Q&A and cleaning motivation. So I'm going to hit you guys with that today. I have questions from when I used to be on Instagram, and I asked you guys to ask me questions for future Q&As. I keep those in a folder. I also keep some comments from you guys that I have screenshot that has good advice and stuff in another folder. But I'm just going to pick from those questions and go kind of down the line and answer those questions. I'm going to answer a question before I start every task that I need to do. It is really late. Everybody is asleep. My mouth is big, but they're used to it, so I'm not going to wake them up for anything. But I really just have to tidy up some stuff. I do have some plates laying around, as you can see here. There's just some dinner plates. We just literally left the dinner plates laying around because we were in such a hurry. We just left them laying there. It kind of looks like the rapture happened, like poof, we're gone. But in reality, we're still here, and I just need to learn how to tidy up even when I'm in a hurry. We're going to tackle laundry first. Before I get started, I'm going to answer a question. The first question is, let me find my folder. How does it feel to be an influencer? I don't know, go ask an influencer. I don't consider myself an influencer. I don't influence, well, I guess I do influence you guys with some of the products that I use, but honestly, all the products that I use have been influenced to me by y'all. So y'all should ask yourselves, how does it feel to be an influencer? This channel is a lot different than most channels, because most YouTube channels, they do consider themselves influencers, especially if they're on Instagram and stuff. They're continually influencing people to buy stuff, to try stuff like that. My channel is a little bit different because for a majority, it's y'all influencing me to try new things and buy new things. So I'll ask y'all, how's it feel to be an influencer? I don't consider myself an influencer. I can't imagine y'all would ever watch my stuff and think, ooh, I should do that, or ooh, I should try that. It makes my day if I show a product that you guys try and you actually love. Like, that makes my day. But I don't really know what I'm doing, so unless I'm influencing you not to know what you're doing, then I don't see how I could influence you very well. I think an influencer is supposed to get paid to show y'all stuff too, or am I wrong? I don't know how that works. I don't work with brands or anything, so I have no idea how that works. Like, do they get paid to influence stuff, or do they just influence stuff, and if you influence stuff, you're an influencer? I guess we're all really influencers, because, I mean, if you look at the bigger scheme of things, where everybody's influencing everybody. If you don't influence somebody, someone else is going to influence that somebody. So I guess we're all influencers in the big scheme of things. My mind at midnight, but really, ain't we all influencers? Have you ever lived in a haunted house? If I have, them demons were gone in Jesus' name. We lived in some creepy houses. Like, there were some situations to where our first apartment, the upstairs felt super creepy, and at that point I had never been in deliverance ministry or anything, so Shannon and I just refused to go upstairs, which kind of sucked because the only bathroom we had was upstairs. So we would go in buddy systems and go eat with each other to use the bathroom, because there was that one room that we intended to make Colton's nursery. We never did because it felt so creepy in there. Even the cat that we had a cat named Tater, even he wouldn't go in there. It was super creepy. We've had instances like that, but as far as haunted, no, in Jesus' name. We've had some creepy situations, like when we moved in here, the doorknobs were all turned backwards on the bedroom, so instead of the lock being on the inside of the room, the lock was on the outside of the room, and that was kind of odd. Like, locks being on the outside is only to lock somebody in, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ever pass those big manufacturing places and they have the big old fence and the wire is on the inside, like it's not something trying to keep something out but trying to keep something in? That's kind of what it felt like. But as far as haunted, no in Jesus' name. We ain't messing with all that. I'd be like, you got to go in the name of Jesus, and I ain't playing, I'm just slinging demons.
know there's a way. If you take my hand now, let me show you another place. Oh, all the funny stuff that's going through your head now. Oh, I know it's hard to shake off, but trust me now. You look like got it all with a smile.
If it was haunted, it wasn't haunted for long, because my praise sessions in this house is enough to drive every demon in hell out of here. Do you know everybody you nod your head at when you're driving? No. No, most people, I don't even know who I'm nodding at, but I nod at anyway. I was like, you know, the Tennessee 2 fingers up, head nod kind of thing. Honestly, I was just telling Shane, I can't see their faces, so I don't ever know if they're looking at me or nodding at me. Like, every cop I pass, I'm like, hey, and they ain't even looking at me, but just in case they're looking at me, I want to get that head nod in. That's how I am with everybody. I can't see your face when you're far away to know if you're nodding at me or not, so just in case you are, I'm going to nod and do the 2-finger Tennessee touch real quick, just in case, because I don't want to be rude. What if for some reason they weren't looking at me and I didn't do the head nod 2-finger Tennessee high? That would be horrible.
Life goes on, it goes down, then back up, and we'll never get used to it. It goes on, it goes down, but the sun is up. No time to ponder in the shade. Come out, oh, I know you get through it, 'cause you've been hiding in the shade for too long. Oh, don't have to thank me now, 'cause I'm just glad to see you up on your feet, and that you're moving in closer to me. I see you walk out of the shade. Oh yeah, came out. Ooh, it's in the past now. Oh yeah.
How are you still so kind to the turds? So what I realize is that they're not always going to be turds. I have faith in that person that one day they're not going to be that way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, just because they don't like me doesn't make them a turd. There's many things about myself that I don't like about myself. That doesn't make me a turd. A turd is just a funny way of me making a difference between someone who is very nice on the channel and kind and stuff versus someone who's not so nice and not so kind. I'm kind to them because I know and I have faith in that person, that even if they don't like me and even if they're mean to me, that one day they'll be a better person, a kinder person. And liking me doesn't make them a better person. It doesn't make them a kinder person. So, like, not hope that they'll one day like me, but hope that they'll one day become a better version of who they are and not be so unkind to those people that they don't like. Because I was once a turd. I was once an unkind person. I was once a mean person. I was one of the most unlovable people that you would ever know. But looking at me now and being who I am now shows me that anybody can transform from a turd to a butterfly. Anybody can change, and we're constantly evolving. And a lot of times the turds, like the turds, I'll say turds with buddy quotes, because I don't really think you're a turd. If you're a turd and you're watching this, I love you. And me calling you a turd doesn't mean I don't love you. It's just easier for me to be like, turd, someone who's nice kind of thing. You know, maybe I should come up with a word for the nice people. Turd versus tulips. Tulips. Okay, turd and tulip. So if I come across you and you're not nice, it's a turd. And if I come across you and you are nice, you're a tulip. we'll do it that way. That way that the turds don't feel, you know, feel pointed out. A lot of the times the turds, I have to do that because I don't want you to think I'm calling you names. It's my mind. Like, I say turd in the nicest way possible. Sometimes they're the not so nice people. They come here and they're releasing bad energy that they've built up all day long. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not one of those people who, oh, your energy. Like, I'm talking actual bad energy. They've dealt with really sucky customers. They've dealt with bad bosses, family issues. They've got deeply rooted issues in them that cause them to be bitter and cause them to be the way that they are. It's not always their fault. It's not always a choice they have. It's not always an easy choice, I should say, because everybody has a choice to be kind. Every day you wake up and you have a new day to choose to be kind. So they do have a choice, but sometimes it's not so easy for them because of the circumstances that they've been through and the experiences they've had, whether it be through trauma, through loss. I know because I've been there and I've done that. So if you're a turd and you're watching this, I love you. Like, I can't do nothing but love you, and I would feed you any day of the month. If you were my neighbor and you disliked me, I would take you to your interviews, to your family reunions, wherever you needed to go, I'd take you. I mean that genuinely. I don't have any hard feelings towards you. If anything, I understand why you feel the way that you feel towards me. I'm a lot. I'm a lot to take in, and only a few people can do that. It's amazing to me that 65,000 people have been able to take me in large doses, but I get it. The reason I can stay so kind to them, and I wasn't always that way. If y'all remember when I started my channel, I used to aggravate the far out of those turds. Like, I would instigate and everything, and God had to back me up and be like, hey, like, through YouTube, I didn't start YouTube as the person that I am right now. It's been an evolving kind of thing. I've had to learn, I've had to grow, I've had to get on and publicly apologize for stuff. But in it all, I've grown into who I am now, and I'm still growing. I still don't do everything the right way. But I do have a mindset, and I have had it for a really long time, that I can remain kind to these people because I'm not fighting against these people. I don't wrestle against flesh and blood. And if you're a Christian, then you know that. So I know I'm not dealing with that person. I'm dealing with the issues that that person has, and they're just mirrored, they're reflected towards me. Also, you got to learn to differentiate. Is that the right word? Did I use it? If I use that word in the right way, I'm gonna fall out. I'll learn to differentiate between the person and the action. Kind of like how you differentiate, if I'm using that word wrong, I'm so sorry, between the addict and the person. The trauma and the person are two totally different things. So just because I have a lot of friends on here named Janet, a lot of friends that I've had for a while, so I'm just using Janet because it was the first thing that popped in my mind, probably because I just got commented back to one of you guys, so I'm not saying any Janet in particular, but let's just say this person, the turd, was named Janet. Then Janet, just because she lashes out at me, it doesn't mean that I should dislike Janet, because Janet is still a person and God still loves that person. So if God loves that person, I'm going to love that person, because God loved me when I was a turd, and God loved you when you were a turd, and if you're still a turd, God still loves you. But you know what I'm saying? So if God can love me and all the mess I was, y'all, I wasn't just a turd, I was a cow patty. Like, if God can love me in all my cow patty ways, I can love so-and-so over here who just doesn't like me and is verbal about it. I'd rather somebody not like me and be verbal about it and honest about it than to pretend to like me and go and be turdy and hiding in secret. You know what I'm saying? So I just differentiate. That's not the right word. I'm sure it's not. But I just draw the line between the action and the person. Sometimes good people do bad things. Sometimes you catch good people on a bad day. Sometimes they're recurring bad days. I get recurring turds all the time. Sometimes they're recurring bad days. You just gotta work with them. There are some people that give me whiplash. Oh my gosh, one day they love me, the next day they're mad at me. One day they love me, the next day they can't stand me. One day they love me, the next day I'm annoying. So sometimes they have reoccurring days. That's okay, you love them through it. This society is such a, oh, this person did a bad thing, I can't love them anymore kind of society, when we're called to actually love them through the bad thing. And that's a touchy subject. And people don't like to hear that very often, but that's Bible. When you can step back and realize that you're not really fighting, my washer's gurgling, that you're not really fighting so-and-so, but you're fighting what so-and-so has been through, that's where you find grace. That's where you find grace, and that's where you hold the mercy and say, yes, this person is directing all of this hatred towards me, but I'm not the cause of that person's hatred. Somebody really mean was. Something very bad was. Loneliness, depression, anxiety, all those things can be deeply rooted in hateful people, but they don't always have to be hateful. So my hope is just that one day they'll change, because I did. I had very few people to love me through the turdiness, the cow patty. I had very few people who loved the cow patty in me. So because of that, I know what it feels like. So I'm going to love the cow patty in them. Leave it to me to have a motivational speech about a cow patty. Y'all understand that, right? I know you will. Y'all get me. See, I've learned that when you do something good for someone, you do a good thing, you give a kind gesture, a kind word to someone, it has a habit of becoming a trend, and it has a habit of being passed along. So like whenever I was a cow patty, Shane was my fearfully created. Shane was the original fearfully created, you could kind of say, because he loved me through it, and his love and his patience and his grace and his mercy is what inevitably made me choose to change, because change is a choice. Before he was awesomely created, he was fearfully created. He loved me and all my turdiness, so I know what it's like to be the turd. I know what it's like to lash out. So that's how I'm kind, because I've been there, done that. Been that cow patty. I've heard there's a lot of YouTube drama in the YouTube community. How do you deal with that? I don't deal with it. There have been plenty of times that I've had YouTubers lash out at me, or I've been in the middle of some kind of YouTuber fiasco type of thing, and I don't deal with it. I've had those that have kind of came out and lashed at me and stuff, and kind of ran my name in the dirt, but I don't ever react to that, because it's not my job to make up your mind on somebody. It's not my job to make you dislike somebody. You have your own mind, you have your common sense, and if someone throws red flags, I don't have to hold them in your face and be like, here, red flag, because honestly, even though I have been lashed out at and stuff, even if I wanted to get on here and I wanted to say something back, there's two sides to a story. There's my side and the person's side. And my version of that person might not be your version of that person. So I just don't ever say anything. I don't see the point. Why would I run somebody's name in the dirt just to prove a point that they're not a good person, when I don't know if they're a good person or not, and their account of me and my experience with them, even if it is negative, doesn't say anything about them when it comes to you guys. I don't get on here and bash people that I've had issues with. I have people's names that I have had issues with before come up in my comments, and I never say a word about it, because just because I've had a less than good situation with that person doesn't mean that you shouldn't follow them. If you start getting in that kind of territory, you start getting in the cult territory of, I don't like that person, so you guys can't like that person either, when your reality of that person is totally different than my reality of that person. So I let y'all be y'all and use y'all's brain and try not to influence that, even when it's someone who has hurt me in the past, even when it's someone who has literally bashed my name. If I were to get on here and reciprocate that kind of behavior, then you would only be getting my side, and then from them their side, and both of those sides are biased because it's our own side. I just stay away from it now. I even have deleted my Instagram, because when I first started, I was in some mess and stuff, and I had to get on here and publicly apologize, and I had to apologize to Instagram and stuff like that, and I slowly removed myself from the whole community because it was starting to change me, and I didn't want it to change me. So I removed myself completely. I felt really led to remove myself completely because it was bringing out the worst in me. And I've worked so hard to get to where I am now, I don't want that to happen. So I removed myself completely, and eventually removed myself completely off of Instagram, and I couldn't be happier. Even if they're bashing my name, or even if they don't like me, or any of that stuff, it doesn't mean that the feeling is mutual. It's not. It's really not. I literally overnight them a Gatorade tomorrow if they needed me to. If they were sick and they needed a Gatorade, I'd overnight it to them tomorrow if they needed me to. But I've just felt that being to myself and being away from all the other social media and stuff, just being here on YouTube, it has been so healthy for my mental health. My mental health isn't even something I've struggled with really bad. Like within like the past like 4 years, I haven't struggled with it at all. So I didn't really have a hard time with my mental health being on all these platforms, but coming off of it and backing away from it and just being to myself, I've noticed that I'm a lot happier that way. That's it. I never want you guys to feel like you have to dislike somebody or not support somebody just because we maybe don't get along, or just because we've had roughs here and there. I don't want you to ever look at me and be like, okay, Merina doesn't like this person, so I'm not going to like this person. Because God gave you your free will and your common sense and your own mind to make up about that person, without my relationship with them or my feelings about them influencing that at all. Once again, I don't consider myself an influencer, so don't let me influence that part of you either. I would never try that. But that goes for anybody else too. Don't let people influence your feelings about someone just because you get their side of the story. Make up your mind about that person through your experience with them.
Would you talk to me a little louder? And about that, I don't wanna be in this without you. 'Cause I like the way when you're around in the morning, and I love the way that we fit out when it gets boring. You're the one I talk to when I hit my lows, and I am the one when you need just somebody right by your side, a body to rescue your mind. Just somebody I'm the one to find when you need someone to rescue your mind. Colors, I think that I match with all your colors. Surrounded.
Being a small YouTuber myself, I have found that the numbers and the analytics really stress me out. How do you get past that? That one's easy. Don't pay attention to your numbers. So what if your numbers go down? Your numbers don't define your worth. Just because of the number beside my name, Fearfully Created, doesn't mean I'm a better person than the person who has 500 subscribers or 1,200 subscribers. So what if your numbers drop for a little while? YouTube goes up and down. So you'll be up in the sky and all your arrows will be green, and then all the arrows will be pointing down low. It goes up and down. It's a constant change, and the algorithm's constantly changing and all that stuff. When you start to worry about the number side of it, you lose sight of the important thing, which is having fun and doing this as a hobby and your community in itself. My best advice to new YouTubers is never see your subscribers as a number. So I don't even refer to my subscribers as subscribers a majority of the time. It's always just friends, because that's what you guys are to me. Say you have 25,000 subscribers, or no, let's do a smaller one because you said you were a smaller YouTuber. Say you had 200 subscribers, right? But your view time is going down and your views in itself is going down, and you're only getting like 50 views. That 50 views isn't only getting 50 views. That's 50 people who find your content genuinely enjoyable. That's something to be proud of. And if you're worried about what other YouTubers will think, don't be. If my friend count stopped at 65, I don't even know what it's at. I don't ever look at my analytics hardly because I don't know how to read it. But if my subscriber count stopped at the 65,000 that it's at right now, and I never gained another friend out of this, I couldn't be more happier than I am right now having 65,000 people. If my views went down to 3,000 people, I ain't worried about what anybody would think. That's 3,000 people who still find me genuinely enjoyable, that love me, that are invested in my life and invested in my journey as a homemaker. Are you kidding? That's so something to be proud of. So don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't even look at your analytics. You can't even read half of it anyway, unless you're super smart. If you're super smart, that's awesome. But don't stress about the numbers. YouTube always goes up and down. Don't compare your numbers to anybody else's, because y'all all have your individual YouTuber journeys. Just because so-and-so is growing faster than you doesn't mean you're not going to grow, or doesn't mean you're not going to grow at your own rate. It doesn't make you any less of a person. The algorithm is so unpredictable, but don't get caught up in the numbers, because poof, like that, like a fart in the wind, your fun's gone. You don't enjoy making content anymore because you're so focused on the amount of views you have. When you don't enjoy, that's my jam. When you don't enjoy the content, it's going to be obvious, and people are not going to watch you. I'm not going to watch somebody be miserable while filming. I'm going to be like, girl, go get you a coffee, take you a break, because I can tell your heart's not in it. Also, when you really look deep into why it upsets you so much that your numbers aren't good, or your numbers are dropping or something like that, sometimes you look into that and you realize it's a pride kind of thing. Like, you don't want to look like you ain't got all the subscribers, or you don't want to look like you're dropping subscribers. You don't want to look like your views are going down. If that's the case, and if it is a pride thing, I'm not saying it is in your instance or anybody else's, but if it is a pride thing, nip that in the bud, because that is a disease. It will take over your whole YouTube career journey or anything. Pride and comparison will steal the joy that you have in it. Also, if you're called to do something like this, it don't matter what the algorithm says. God's going to get it to who God wants to get it to. You just need to be still and do your daggone thing.
Cause I like the way when you're around in the morning, and I love the way that we fit out when it gets boring. You're the one I talk to when I hit my lows, and I am the one when you need just somebody right by your side, a body to rescue your mind, just somebody I'm the one to find when you need someone to rescue your mind.
Just curious, do you ever get dressed up, or are you always in pajamas? Well, I'm in pajamas 99.9% of the time. Sometimes I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I wear my most real clothes looking pajamas to the dollar store. That's just being honest. I accidentally wore my house shoes to the doctor's twice in a row. But I do get dressed up. I actually have a thing I was gonna add into a vlog, but I never ended up doing that vlog. But it's me. Here, I'll show you. See, proof that I do get dressed up. This was to church. We were having church, and I usually wear something nice. Obviously, I don't wear my pajamas to church because Jesus is about the only thing I will get dressed up for. Usually, the only times I get dressed up is documented on my YouTube channel, though. I don't get dressed up any other time. Like, if I have a date night, sometimes I'll get dressed up. Sometimes I'll put on makeup, but it's not an always thing. Most of the time, I'm running around in mismatching pajamas. And I like it that way. I'm comfortable that way. I don't really like getting dressed to go out, even in like regular clothes, like even like leggings and stuff, because it's uncomfortable. Like a lot of things don't fit me the way that I want it to. Pajamas fit me the way that I want them to. Pajamas ain't ever done me nothing but good, so they're my go-to. But I do get dressed up for Jesus. Like I said, he's about the only thing I'll get dressed up for. Any other time, it's either mismatched pajamas, or if you catch me on a good day, it's matching pajamas.
Your house, what a big mistake. But for a while I thought that I wouldn't break. I need something else to clear my head. Someone to tell me how to live instead. Just open your eyes and take my advice. Stop rolling the dice and just compromise. It's the chance of your life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to save. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like rise. Stop rolling the dice and just compromise. It's the chance of your life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to save. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like a fake. Take control of your own life. Nothing in life is good. Tired and misunderstood. I would fight if I could. If I believed I should. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to say. Take control of your own life. Okay, try to be brave. You have so much to say. Take control of your own life. Right now, every mistake makes you feel like a fake. Take control of your own life.
Is there any advice that you would give past Merina regarding your YouTube channel? Oh yeah. Be aware about who you surround yourself with, but that comes number 2, to do not overshare. When I first started YouTube, I didn't realize how important it is to keep certain things personal. I had to find this medium, and I'm still looking for it. So like I haven't found it. Like I've slowly found it, and I keep modifying it, if that makes sense. But I've had to find this medium between sharing like I would with you, my best friend, which is you guys. I consider all y'all like my best friend. You really are. A friend is someone who is there for you, and y'all are always there for me with encouraging words and advice and nicely delivered criticism and stuff like that. So I do consider y'all my friends. I know that's an iffy word in the influencer world, but I really do consider you my friend. It's hard to ride that line between oversharing and wanting to share things with you guys but not oversharing, because I had to come to the realization that not everybody who watches my videos are my friends. Like not everybody who watches my videos love me, and not everybody that watches my videos are doing it for enjoyment or entertainment or anything like that. Sometimes people who don't like me watch my videos, and sometimes people who really don't like me watch my videos. There's all sorts of people that watch my videos. It would be ridiculous of me to believe that every person who has ever watched one of my videos likes me or doesn't have ill intentions, you know what I'm saying? So I had to find that line, and I'm still looking for it, but I've been very careful. A lot of you guys went back to watch some of my mobile home updates in my mobile home updates playlist and noticed that a lot of videos were private, and I spoke about it a few videos ago, but I have privated a lot of videos, and sometimes it's because I've done collabs with people I no longer promote, I guess you could say. But collabs that I didn't give a lot of thought to, I have privated those. But more importantly, I've privated videos that I felt like I overshared in. I overshared a lot when I first started my YouTube channel, and I haven't found all the videos that I've overshared in, but I did find some when going back and looking for them, and I privated those videos because I overshared in them. Somebody I talked to one time, if I told you who it was, you'd be like, what, Merina, you talked to them? But somebody I talked to once gave me the best advice regarding YouTube, and they said every question doesn't require an answer. And that is hard for me because, I mean, what friend comes over to your house and says, hey Merina, what about blah blah blah, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that question doesn't require an answer. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to share it with you guys, but like I said, it's ridiculous of me to think that everybody who is asking me these questions have good intentions, you know what I'm saying? So like, for example, I've had videos where I share a little bit too much about Cammy. I had those privated. Videos where I talk a lot about Shane's job. I had a lot of issues. If I told you guys the issues I have dealt with since being on YouTube, it would blow your mind. It would absolutely blow your mind what we have dealt with just being on YouTube and being on a platform and stuff, but I don't share that anymore. Now, if somebody asks me what Shane does for work, I just say he's in fire safety. I used to film a lot whenever he would first get home. He would have his uniform on. There's a lot that I've learned and a lot that I would love to pass on to up and coming YouTubers who have just started out. I can't give you much advice when it comes to views and stuff. Because I don't know anything about the algorithm. A lot of people have asked me about views and stuff because of the views I get or the friends I get, but I don't know other than to say God. Like, it's God. I can't take any credit for it. Your girl don't know nothing about analytics. I don't know nothing about the algorithm. Can't take any credit for it. I can't answer that and say God. But if I could give any other advice to any upcoming YouTubers, it would be very guarded with what you share. I know you want to share everything. I know you want to share every good moment. I know you want to vent about every bad moment. But you can't do that in a safe way online when you have a big platform. It's impossible. So now when people ask me what Shane does for work, I just vaguely answer and I move on. Sometimes I don't answer at all because the experiences we have had when I've come out and said what he does for work or where he works or anything like that has been horrible. I'm sure you guys have noticed I don't even film when he gets home anymore. I don't do anything like that. If he's got his uniform on, it's not on camera. So videos where I've overshared about Shane's work, where I've overshared about anything other than my past, and because I feel like I have the right to share my past, and it does include some people, you know, it does include some loved ones of mine. But it's a part of my story and I want to tell that story, so I feel like I have the right to share as much as I want to about me, and you know, deal with the consequences if I overshare because it's just me. But when it comes to Shane and the kiddos, I don't want to overshare anymore. I never really want to overshare. In the first place, I just didn't realize I was oversharing. So if I could tell Merina anything, or any future YouTubers, up and coming YouTubers, new YouTubers, old YouTubers that just don't know anything about it, be very guarded with what you share. That's a hard lesson to learn. So if I could keep you from having to learn that by experience, I would love to.
I never felt tomorrow closing in this fast. Oh, I guess time's in a rush. Leaves are falling down, but at least they grow back.
Bonus question. I get asked a lot why I just wipe stuff into the floor. And that's because I want to come in and sweep it anyway. Somebody taught me that forever ago. I don't know if they're a good homemaker or not, but it's something that I've been able to stick with since they taught me that. So that's what I do. If I know I'm going to do my floors. Now if I know I'm not going to do my floors, I don't just rake stuff into the floor.
My God, it is just enough to get by. Yeah, it is just enough to get by. Sometimes I understand I'm making all the wrong demands in life. It never pays in the end.
Is there any way you would ever live in a 1 or 2 story brick and mortar home? Is that like a regular house? That sounds like a Rick and Morty. Who is Rick and Morty? I think that's a show. I've never watched it, but it just rang a bell. It's not that I wouldn't, and it's not that I oppose. Can y'all see my head? It's not that I oppose actual houses. Like, well, this is an actual house, but you know what I mean. Like big houses, like brick and mortar, whatever that means, houses. It's not that I oppose those. I think they're gorgeous. I think they're good when, you know, especially if you live in like a tornado-y place or anything like that. I think that they're long-term, and if you live in a big, beautiful house, like, I think that's awesome. But for me, like, I want to be debt-free. I want to not have to worry about retiring at a certain age because I don't have the money to pay my $2,000 house payment, or because I don't have the money to pay off my $300,000 house, or anything like that. Simple living is what I enjoy. It's not me selling myself short. It's not me selling my family short. My kids will tell you they are so content and they love our home and they are amazed at what we've turned it into. So like, it's not me selling anybody short or anything. It's just I prefer to live in a mobile home. I think it's more affordable. I think it's more costly effective. I think that if you really take care of it, you don't have to worry about it going off and, you know, dying or breaking down on you or caving in on you or anything like that. I enjoy living here because I can prove to people that there is no such thing as trailer trash. And if there is, then there's such thing as apartment trash. And because I don't promote anybody calling anybody trash, but it's not just a trailer trash thing. You can actually live in a mobile home and enjoy living in a mobile home and make that mobile home your own. You're not limited to doing anything that you could do to a house. You can do it to the single wide. And if it gets you out of debt faster, if it allows you to be debt free, do it. Like, do it times a million, because you don't ever know what the economy is going to look like in 20 years. And if you get on a 15 to 30 year home loan, you know, fixed home loan or whatever, you're going to be in a puddle of mud if things go south. You just never know. Nobody knows what the future holds. So why not secure your future now by doing something that is kind of out of the box? Mobile home living is just now really taking off. People have always lived in mobile homes, but it's just now that people are realizing what they can do with mobile homes or tiny homes or shipping container homes, barn dominiums. I mean, they've got so many things now. People are kind of starting to step out of the box and see that you can make anything a home. The American dream used to be, you know, get a good job, raise your family in a home, a nice home, a big home. The American dream now is kind of just stay afloat. like do what you can to serve your family and you long term. That's my American dream, is do what I can now to set my kids up to be able to make choices that aren't as hard as the choices I've had to make or the choices that Shane have had to make or our grandparents. My kids will be able to go to college and not have to pay for it themselves because I got it. Shane's got it. We got it. Shane had to pay for his college. He had to work and go to college. He had to buy his first car. I had to buy my first car. Like, we had to work for things that we had. And that's good, and I don't want to take that away from my kids. So I want to instill in them work ethic and stuff like that, but I don't want them to make the tough decisions that we had to make. I don't want them to ever have to choose between their lights and their water. That's a decision nobody should have to choose. That's a hard decision nobody should ever have to make. So I try to live my life as humbly and content as I possibly can so that my kids are set, so that therefore my grandkids are set, and the grandkids after that, and it's a domino effect, because we came from trailers. We were both raised in single wides. We were both raised in, Shane more so poverty, me on the lower poor scale. I wasn't as poor as Shane, but we were both, neither of us or our families had any money. I want that to stop with us, and I want my kids to be able to have whatever they have. I want to make sure their credit is stable before they leave our home. I want to make sure that I have a sustainable savings account for them so that when they get 18, they don't have the choice of having to go to work or go to college. Because if it's college or if it's tech school, whatever it is you want to do, they have that choice. They don't have to make tough decisions. So if living in a mobile home allows you to do that for your family, you know, you've got to come up with your own why. But that's my why. My why is to make sure that my kiddos get to be who they want to be, and they're not put in a box just because they were raised in a trailer or because they were raised in a trailer park. What if my child goes on to be a lawyer and they have all these things and they help all these people, and their testimony is, I was raised in a trailer park by two people who were basically considered, at some point in our lives, we were considered trailer trash. What if one of them goes on to be a doctor, a surgeon, and they're like, I was raised in a trailer park by two people who people assumed were trailer trash? That's huge. And if we get land one day, I want to get land to where we can build off that land. So if my kids want to live on that land, I'm somebody who I want to be surrounded by my kids for as long as I possibly can. So they don't ever have to leave my home. If they don't want to, they can. This is their home forever. This is their forever ever home. So unless they just absolutely want to, they don't have to leave. Or if they want to live close to me, they won't ever have to beg me to live close to me. They have my land is their land. My home is your home. My car is your car. Whatever I got, it's theirs. So that's my why. That's why I choose to live the way that I do in the home that I do. Could we afford something bigger? Yes. Could we afford to go out here and buy an amazing house? Yeah, we really could. But I don't want to. I'd much rather see that money go into savings. You just gotta find your why and see if it's worth it for your family. It's not for everybody. Mobile home living, tiny home living isn't for everybody. Some people are still chasing that original American dream, and that's okay if that's what makes you and your family happy. Your big picture looks a lot different than my big picture. Thank y'all for hanging out with me and for getting some chores done. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's 1:05. I'm wore out. I have so much more to do, but I'm going to get some much needed rest and just start again tomorrow. I love y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a blessed morning, evening, night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Know that I love you, but Jesus loves you more. I'll see y'all later.